Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Hi, I'm 24 female. I'm currently pursuing my master's in New York. I'm basically from Nashville, so all my family stays there. I have a cousin named Sarah, 28 female. She graduated college but doesn't really have a full-time job. She teaches part-time and spends most of her time chilling with friends and shopping. Sarah is an only child who is a spoiled brat. She doesn't spend a single pie that she earns and lives off her parents' money. Our family is pretty conservative and are putting pressure on her to get married. But apparently, she doesn't want to, as that means unnecessary responsibilities and that she loves living the way she does. A year ago, Sarah decided to come to New York because she hasn't been up to the city. She didn't inform me and randomly popped up at my doorstep. She had gotten the details somehow and landed there. It was during exam week, so I was a bit annoyed but didn't say anything. She would eat all the food in the house, including my roommate's snacks. Sarah also used some of my roommate's creams that were in the bathroom. When my roommate informed me, I was so embarrassed. As it was exam week, I couldn't take her out, so she would go out every day to explore the city. One of these days, when she came back home, my friend George was home and we were studying together. She gave me a dirty look, but I didn't say anything. So she was leaving the day after my last exam, and so I spent that day with her. We were drinking at home and went to the park, did some thrift shopping and so on. That night she left. 4 days later, I got a call from my parents. I thought it was their usual weekly call, but it turned out to be worse than ever. Turns out Sarah had gone back to Nashville and told tales about me. She had told the family that I was a terrible host who never paid attention to her the whole time. She told them I was a raging alcoholic and had lots of alcohol all around the house and was a S-slang who brought random men home. My parents were so upset with me and asked me to get back to Nashville. They all believed her. My parents literally gave me an ultimatum to go back to Nashville or that they were gonna stop paying my college fees. I was so shocked and started crying. I was so mad at Sarah and at my parents for not trusting their own daughter. As it was the last semester, I had only 2 months left, so I was not going to leave. I had to take up 2 part-time jobs to support myself for those 2 months. After that, I found a job and continued staying in New York. 2 months ago, Sarah randomly called me and let me know that she was coming to New York. And apparently, I had to book hotel rooms for her, because now that I'm earning, I can afford it. I laughed at her and said that there was no way I was doing that or even entertaining her in New York. She started crying on the phone and said that I was a miserable sister. When I asked her about the lies she had told our family about me, she said, "I was just looking out for you." I was so mad and cut the call. Am I the a-hole? Update. Sarah made my parents call me and ask if she can at least stay with me. I told them that she was definitely not entering my house after all that she had done. They said that I was being unreasonably mean to her. I just changed the topic. A week ago, she actually turned up in New York. She was outside my old apartment and didn't know that I had moved. She called me multiple times and I didn't pick up. You're not the a-hole, OP. Your parents and Sarah are the a-holes. Your parents were believing the word of Sarah and giving you an ultimatum instead of coming to New York to come and verify the things she said about you. Sarah is an a-hole for being a liar and a terrible person overall. The fact they thought you would be welcoming to her again is insane. Of course, you don't want her in your space anymore after all she did the last time. Stick to your guns and let her fend for herself. Story 2. My wife, 26 female, and I, 26 male, both work 4 days a week. I work 12-hour shifts and she works 8-hour shifts. She would work more, but our daughter, 1 female, needs to be picked up from daycare. I leave for work before they wake up and some days get home after our daughter has gone to bed. This week, our daughter's daycare provider was sick, so my wife took the week off of work to care for her. I worked an extra day to make up for her lost income, so it all worked out fine. Or so I thought. She still seemed stressed, so I asked her what was wrong. She broke down. saying that she is struggling with balancing work, caring for our daughter throughout the week, and keeping our house clean and cooking, etc. I responded calmly by saying that I can't miss work or reduce hours. We simply can't afford it. She responded by saying she knows that, but it is overwhelming for her, and the house chores are piling up. I told her 90% of the problems with messiness could be solved if she picked up after herself. If she just put the used butter knives in the sink after she was done and rinsed bottles or cookware, etc. I will happily do the dishes when I get home from work. Hell, I'll even put them away after. But I do not want to scavenger hunt and look around the house for things to wash. She did not respond to me after I said that, other than a quiet okay before going to console our daughter, who woke up early from her nap. She still seemed upset with me, so I vented to my coworker about what happened. He says I was being an a-hole because I didn't even listen to what she wanted. I feel like I was perfectly reasonable. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole, OP. She clearly works way more hours than you, but because it's unpaid labor, you don't recognize it. It's about time you start to pull your weight around the house. This was a cry for help, and you threw it right back in her face. I'm glad your colleague has more sense than you. Shame he couldn't get some into you in the process. Stop trying to seek sympathy for your poor judgment, apologize to your wife, and get cleaning. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole for not reading the room and realizing that your wife just needed a supportive ear. How tone deaf, OP, and to add insult to injury, you vented to your coworker. The literal same thing your wife was trying to do with you. How can you not see that? Stop trying to patronize your wife. Be supportive, she's pulling a lot of weight. You're the a-hole. You took from that whole thing the dishes. Clearly it's about a lot more than a damn butter knife in the wrong place. How 90% of her problems are her own fault is stupid. I bet 99% that she carries the entire mental load of the household and has a baby brain. On days that you work, I imagine she is the one that is basically the sole parent, and probably on days that you don't work, she does the lion's share. You're the a-hole. A household has way more chores than just dishes. Your wife confided in you and you blamed her for not being superhuman. She takes care of your child while you are at work, and you even admit that child is in the bed by the time you get off sometimes. The daycare is closed for a week and she has a 1-year-old at home all the time. Are you cooking and cleaning more to take some work off her back? When your child is awake after you get off, are you the one giving her bath then putting her to bed? You may work 12 hours, but coming home to only help with dishes is not a lot of help. Also, you worked 5 days that week but didn't jump up to help way more than the 2 days you were off. Story 3. My husband took me to an auction where people at his job bid on various items as their Xmas bonus. We wandered around before the bidding, looking at items. Through my husband's job, he had $300 worth of bonus credit that had to be spent before the end of the year. Otherwise, he would lose it. It had to be spent at this auction. So we had $300 to blow. The auction stuff was mostly artsy crap, but Hubs spotted a 3D printer, unopened, and said, I've seen this on Amazon for around $300, so it will probably go for less than that. It looks kinda cool, I'm going to bid on it. While we were waiting for the printer to go up for bid, Hubs was on his phone. He googled a bunch of different projects he could make with it and kept poking me to show me. He said he couldn't wait to get home. Well, the printer came up for bid and some asshole immediately bid $400 on it, not knowing it's cheaper on Amazon, I guess. I was surprised that Hub still bid on it. He kept going till $500. We were on a budget and can't spend $200 on a toy, so he let it go. He bought a painting instead. He said he was okay with not getting the printer, but he was apparently lying. So a week after this, my mom gave me a $200 Amazon gift card for Christmas. I was looking for a gift for my sister. First thing that popped up on Amazon was a 3D printer for $170. I had already bought Hubs' present, a TV for his man cave in the garage. Bought Black Friday, so no returns. But I still needed a gift for my sister, and this would serve as a gift for her entire family too. So I shipped it to her. I figured we could go visit her and use it sometimes. She lives about 70 minutes away. I told her not to open till Christmas, but she can never wait, so she opened it. My sister was thrilled. She posted all the stuff on Facebook that she made with it. She also thanked me for it in the post. Hubs was livid and still is pouting. I want to point out that until the auction on December 1st, he had never said anything about wanting a 3D printer. Admittedly, he and my sister do not get along, but I thought they could bond over this gift. I thought it was a good idea. Am I the a-hole? Or is he being a drama queen like I think? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Based on his behavior at the auction, you knew he wanted a 3D printer, not that it was his dream present. Also, buying something for your sister doesn't mean he can never have one now. Your next present to him could still be a 3D printer. And his feelings towards your sister don't change that. She's your sister and you're gonna get her a Christmas present. Seems to me that his reaction is very childish. You're the a-hole. You literally bought the exact thing he wanted and gave it to your sister. It was probably the exact one he was looking at and everything since it popped up on the Amazon he was checking out at the auction. There are a million different things you could have got for your sister and a family, but you decided to get the thing your husband had childlike glee about and throw it in his face that you could have had it because there is no effing way in hell you're going to let him spend $200 or $300 on a toy for himself. You're the a-hole. I'm sorry, but listen, you understood at the auction how excited he was. He was ranting and raving about it. You were given $200 and saw the printer for $170. Now, yes, you have already bought a TV for him, in which case you weren't under obligation to buy him a second gift. But to then take the gift that he was talking about wanting and buy it for someone else, that's a real kick in the teeth. Maybe he never mentioned it before because, as you said, you're tight on budget for toys and he didn't think it was an option. But you just proved it was an option by buying it for someone else. After his interest was expressed, the intentions weren't malicious, but I still understood where he was coming from.